Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Macon-Bibb County Pre-Commission. Acting as a committee of the whole, today is Tuesday, April the 4th, and the time is now 5 o'clock. I'd like to welcome everyone here to our meeting, and we'll begin with item 1. We have several items on the agenda today. We also have a regularly scheduled commission meeting tonight at 6 o'clock. So we'll begin with item 1, which is the approval of the minutes. This is the approval of the minutes from our meeting that we had on March the 21st of 2023. Can I get a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and be sent to consent agenda. The next several items, items 2A through looks like G. 2G are all items of alcohol license approvals. All those, I believe, tonight are recommending approving. We'll go through those one by one. I'll have Mr. Howard come forward, beginning with item 2A. Item 2A is a Macon Shell 786 Inc. DBA Macon Shell Mart located at 3750 Mercer University Drive, Macon, Georgia 31204. You can see that picture of that location there. And legal in this case recommends approval, and you can see all the things on your counter there indicating what was applied for, and they meet all legal and statutory requirements to get a license. At this time, I'd like to make a motion for approval. Do we get a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. Any discussion or questions for Mr. Howard? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries unanimously to be sent to consent agenda. Item B is Zira LLC DBA Food Mart located at 1105 Gray Highway, Macon, Georgia. You can see that item as well on your screen. Legal recommends approval for this particular business as well. They meet all the legal and statutory guidelines to do so, and they have a certificate of good standing attached to your packet as well. This time we'll go ahead and also remind you that wine was previously approved on March the 10th at this location of this year, and they'll be adding beer, and that's the only nuance in this situation here. So at this time I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. We do have one nay, and that was Commissioner Paul Bronson. Item C is Mahadev 627 LLC, doing business as Shell Mart, located at 627 Sherling Drive. You can see that location on your screen as well. Legal has done all their necessary checks and recommends approval. They meet all the legal and statutory guidelines as approved by this commission, and they also have a certificate of good standing attached to the application. This time I entertain a motion for approval. Got a motion by Commissioner Lucas. How you doing, Commissioner Lucas? You got a new hairdo, I like that. We get a second? Second by Commissioner Wynn. At this time, we have any questions for Commissioner Howard? Attorney Howard. Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries with the exception of Mr. Bronson over there. I'm sorry. We got somebody joining in over there. Who is that? Commissioner? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 2. That motion still carries. Will be sent to the agenda tonight. At this time, we'll move on to item D, which is a Beauty and Lee Bar Nail Lounge. Hope I said that right. La Bar Nail Lounge, LLC, located at 1625 Bass Road, Suite 240. As you can see the picture there, this is a nail salon that also wishes to serve, I believe, malt and wine consumed on premises, something that we've done before. They meet all legal and statutory guidelines, and they also have a certificate of good standing. At this time, I entertain a motion for approval. A motion for Commissioner Wynn. I have a motion. We get a second. Second by Commissioner Lucas. Any questions regarding this item? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. You okay with the nail salon, Mr. Bronson? Okay. Item E is Macon Bar Services, LLC, doing business as JBA, located at 425 Cherry Street. I think we're familiar with that location. All the legal recommends approval on this item. They met all legal and statutory reasons for and obligations for getting a license. And I believe they're operating under a temporary right now. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And they have met certificate of good standing that's been attached. At this time, I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Bronson. We have a second. Second by Mayor Pro Tem Clark. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item F is Ambridge Hospitality LLC, which is the Courtyard by Marriott, Macon, located at 3990 Sheridan Drive. I think you can see that hotel there. This is a hotel. Recommended action by legal is approving this item. They met all legal and statutory guidelines, and they've also included a certificate of good standing that's been attached to the document. At this time, I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Howell. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries and will be sent to consent agenda. Item G is the Marathon 610 LLC, doing business as Jet Food Store, located at 610 Shirling Drive, Macon, Georgia 31211. And Commissioner Lucas has her hand up. Is that you saying that you want to make a motion to approve? Okay. Commissioner Lucas, I'm sorry, your names are not showing up on my screen tonight, so I'm having a hard time seeing who we are. So that would be name number 3, which is Commissioner Lucas. So I can make a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wynn. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carried. Nay? All right. We got the Watkins and Bronson show tonight. Want to make the motion, so that's 5-2. It still passes. We're going to move on to appropriations. Appropriations, item 3A is ordinance to authorize a supplemental budget appropriation. Ooh, Lord, sorry about that. Supplemental budget appropriations from general fund to transfer out capital improvements in the amount of up to $57,500 for repairs to the security and fire systems into provision of DuraClean and ServPro services at Randy Stevens Tennis Center. This is an item that we considered a while back, I think about a month or so ago. These are additional charges for the cleanup for that situation out there, and this is the amount that we have there. This time, entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Any discussion? And my screen is off, so I apologize. If somebody has a question, just raise your hand. Sorry. Commissioner Watkins.
I'm curious, how much money do we have? I know I've tried to ask it through email a couple times, and I'm just...
Well, that's not a conversation we're going to have on this question here, but we...
And it's a fund balance question. I'm curious how much is in fund balance.
They've sent you all that information. Somebody want to give him a ballpark?
So, yeah, so just tell me what it is.
When we take out the money that we reserve for different issues, we have roughly $20 million in fund balance that we're able to attribute.
So, and I guess that was my question. When I was looking at the document that you sent, it was like a 20 for a 60-day reserve. Then there was another unassigned reserve that was another 31, and then a 5 here, a 2 there. So, and plus the 21 that is unassigned, I think it came out to like 70 million of money. Am I processing that correct?
It's a little over 80 million.
Okay.
And then when you take out all the things that have to be reserved, some of that's from the very beginning. We've always had to keep $5 million on hand in a restricted account. We have another 300,000 that we have to keep on hand for recreation from an old bill. Then we have the 60-day. That's the policy of what we keep on hand to make sure that we could pay for 60 days worth of work. To keep the government running in case there was some big crash. We want to do that. The money that we're attributing for the anticipated rollback, all of that equal to what we were answering your question was that it's about $20 million, and what we're saying is available fund balances for such uses as today, like $67,000 to do the fire cleanup and Randy Stevens.
Okay, and I guess I didn't understand, and I'd asked to follow up on what do y'all mean by the rollback? That's a big number of.
So the splost amount the OLOS that was passed, we collect that money, but we're required to roll that back this year as a minimum of five meals, and the estimated amount per meal is somewhere close to 5 meals, $5 million per meal. So that amount is being collected, but it's going to be rolled back.
So I guess that confused me. Because I can remember very passionately Robert Rickard being under the impression that he achieved the rollback, and we celebrating that event with him. So how is it that we have to roll back again? Because I remember the legislation that we needed to roll back.
Robert Ricker was not even here when this happened. This is the OLAS. OLAS failed 3 times before we got here. It passed that time, and this is the first year of the 5 mil rollback this year.
We did a rollback related to consolidation.
That might have been 2014, but this is 2023, and this is dealing with the OLAS, and that's what she's talking about to you.
Okay.
We had to collect it last year, and we roll back this year, just like we do every year. When you get your tax bill, you'll see a subtraction there for a rollback, and that's your current 1 penny, which is the lost. We collected a 2nd penny beginning this past year, and we'll roll that back this year in this cycle, which we're supposed to do by law. And that provision in the OLAS required a 5 mil rollback, a minimal 5 mil rollback. And the amount that she's giving you is the amount of that, what we believe the millage rate may be, times the 5 mil rollback that has to be set aside, because we have to return that to the taxpayers this year.
So, and I realize this isn't germane exactly to what you're speaking of, but I heard you, but I didn't quite understand. We could spend another 20 minutes, and I'm not sure about the rest of the commission, but it may be worth a further conversation at some other time, because I heard you, but that needs to be said again.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I would like to clarify. Cash and fund balance, again, 2 totally separate things. And that is very important to understand, is we do not have $20 million on just in cash. Remember, cash we collect throughout the year, and we're in our lean, you're about to start our lean period, because we don't get our influx in cash until October when property taxes start coming in. But when you do accounting, for accounting purposes, we do have what we call fund balance, is what we balance the ledger with. And that's part of the conversation that we've had for years. So please, I just want to make note, when you say how much cash we have on hand, we don't have just $20 million laying around to spend. Fund balance, we have that because that is an accumulation of all the years that the government has been in operation, the pluses and the minuses over the years that come up with that number. But when we think about cash, I mean, but for the resolution ordinance in front of you today, is we had an emergency with the pipes burst, and I came before you and said that the estimate was about $250,000. It came in more than that because now we've done the repairs, but this was for the initial cleanup with the ServPro and DuraClean.
Yes, sir.
That's what you have in front of you right now.
Understand what's before me today, no issue there. But the comment just then on the fund balance and the cash respectfully made it less clear to me. So I was under the impression just then that there was, like, if you were to go to the bank account, you would see like 85 million in it, 21 million being unrestricted or unassigned, I think y'all used. So the difference between the fund balance and what would actually be cash in the bank would be?
I think what county manager is trying to say is that we have money in investments, so not of it's just liquid available for you right now. When we gave you the listing of all of the money, we know that we should be anticipating a collection of $85 million. We get a little something every month, of different various fees and what's coming in. And that once we take out what is restricted in that non-spendable, what is assigned to recreation, what is assigned as outstanding POs, meaning we've already issued a purchase order to someone to buy a truck, and we know that we're going to have to pay for that when they send us the invoice. When we keep the assigned working capital that was listed in the charter, that we had to keep that 5.6 that I think was a holdover from city days, and then our policy reading 31.6 is our 60-day. We need to keep that on hand, and then our OLAS anticipated rollback. That what leaves it available is a little over $20 million. But to his point, it's not like we just have 20 million. We have it in investments, long and short, in different places, and it's not just cash on hand.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, at this time we have a motion and second regarding the item at South Bibb Recreation Center. To entertain a vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item B is ordinance to authorize a budget transfer within the solid waste landfill budget in amount of $140,000 from the repair vehicle outside contracts line item to rentals, equipment, and repair landfill gas wells and tanks line items to provide additional cost at landfill, including pump rentals. Dr. Moffitt, you'll explain a little bit about that, so make sure we don't get
Yes,
confused.
sir. About 3-4 months ago, you approved the $175,000 to be put into solid waste. and we put it in the contractual line item contractual line item, and preparing for closure, we need to rent some pumps, so we just need to move that money into the rental line item for accounting purposes. This is just a transfer, this is no additional money, just for accounting purposes. We just want to move it from the contractual line item service into the rental. I believe it's called rental, it's in the resolution, the rental line item.
Yeah, this is just a transfer out.
Yes, just a transfer.
Okay. This time I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Howell. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilder. Any further discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item 4A is a resolution, and I'll tell you that the next the next 4 items on the agenda for appropriation have no local match at all. And the 5th one that we'll talk about does have a partial match from the airport fund. So 4A is a resolution authorizing acceptance of Criminal Justice Coordinating Council Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, grant continuation award in the amount of $50,000 with no local match required to the Office of the Solicitor General. I have a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Wynn, second by Commissioner Bronson. Any discussion? Thank you. That's right. So we got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item B is a similar resolution authorizing acceptance of a technology supplemental sub-grant award from the State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for fiscal year 2023 in amount of $5,000 with no local match, awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Adult Felony Drug Court Program. That's my motion. Can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. Any questions regarding this item? It is no local match. Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion, yes, ma'am.
Please have the appropriate people to come and provide us that information, you know, that we discussed on the drug activity, the number of people, the new, well, I don't guess they're new, but the drugs that are really increasing in the community. The health department has someone who'd like to share that information.
Okay, from the health department?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we'll do that.
The district health.
We do have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item C is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of a technology supplemental sub-grant, State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for fiscal year 2023 in the amount of $3,000 with no local match. This particular one will be awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Veterans Court Program. At this time, I entertain a motion for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wynn. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Lucas. All those, I'm sorry, Commissioner Watkins?
No real opposition, but for drug court, veterans court, and family court, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000. Like, those are just really, really small numbers for such. Again, as we talk about, I could imagine like the effort put in is worth more than 2,000 hours. And again, I'm just curious on what are we accomplishing here?
These are just supplemental grants. They get all kind of money, but this is just one that they can apply for to get extra money in. It doesn't fund the whole system.
I mean, obviously, is it fund a person through drug treatment court?
No, what it's probably funding is per hour, per treatment. I'll have an attorney come up. And honestly, I don't have each one of those come up on these small grants because they give up their time to come up here to explain the same thing over and over again. But we'll get our attorney to give you what information she can.
All 3 of these are technology sub-grants that they got. They got the opportunity to apply for technology, so they're buying laptops and iPads and such as that. So it's like one laptop in the gear, or one iPad. It was a very small supplemental that they were able to ask for.
Then nothing, but
Okay.
do they have a laptop problem? And never mind. I yield.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second. If there's no further questions, we'll go ahead and move forward with the vote. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. Item D is a resolution authorizing the acceptance of technology supplemental sub-grant, again, State of Georgia Criminal Justice Coordinating Council for the fiscal year 2023 in an amount of $2,000 with no local match, awarded to the Macon Judicial Circuit Family Treatment Court Programs. As my motion, can I get a second? Second by Commissioner Bronson. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, will be sent to consent agenda. Item E is a resolution accepting Georgia Department of Transportation funding in the amount of up to $387,510.75 for costs associated with a master plan and airport layout plan update project at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport, with a local match of up to $147,349 to be paid from the airport fund, Airport Middle Georgia Regional Property Consultants line item to approve professional services agreement for required services for the master plan and to an amount not to exceed $664,000. Ms. Davis, you need to add, I'm sorry, you need to add anything to that? Okay. At this time, I entertain a motion to approval. A motion by Commissioner Howell. Do we have a second? Second by Commissioner Wilder. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, will be sent to consent agenda. Sorry.
Plan, no bricks and mortar being moved with that 600,000.
No, sir, that's just the plan.
Okay, wonderful.
We're going to move on to the streetlights, and we do have, I think, 4 of those that have been approved, and we can do those all at once, but I'll let you know the roads if that's okay. The first item 5A is a resolution deals with Forest Avenue, and I think everyone knows what Forest Avenue is. Additional streetlights there, and the cost there is $77.20 per month to be paid from the facilities management budget services. Item B is a resolution approving a request for installation of lights at the intersection of Sofsky Circle and Reading Road for a cost of $14.54 per month. Item C is a resolution approving a request for the installation of additional streetlights along Watkins Lane, which is $14.54 per month. Item D is a resolution approving a request for the installation of additional streetlights at Monroe Street, between Monroe Street and Hardeman Avenue and Tinsley Lane, for a cost of $14.54 per month to be paid from the facilities management budget. At this time, I entertain a motion for consolidation of all 4 of those for approval. Motion by Commissioner Wilder, second by Commissioner Lucas, or vice versa, it doesn't matter. Any questions on those items? Commissioner Watkins.
Of the street lights that have been passed so far, have we got the first batch or any batches installed?
I know that some of them have, but what we found out during our questions, they all take different amounts of time depending on who owns the poles, and whether it's underground or above ground, and how quickly we can get GDOT back. But I know that the first round we done, several of those have been, and what's that? In Georgia Power, their schedules. But so there's no rhyme or reason on some of them may take 30 days and some of them may take 120 days. But we have started to see some trickle in. Okay. Commissioner Mayor Pro Tem Clark.
I'd just like to be added as an author to 5A and 5D, please.
Okay. Okay. We have a motion and second for 5A through 5D. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries, will be sent to consent agenda. Item E is a resolution to review the speed limits on Macon-Bibb County residential, arterial, and collector roads to ensure appropriate speed limits for pedestrian safety, and to request the Commissioner of the Georgia Department of Transportation to review the speed limits on state, residential, arterial, and collector roads to ensure appropriate speed limits for pedestrian safety. This is something that came out of Pedestrian Safety Review Board, and I will ask Commissioner Lucas to give some additional information about that prior to discussion or vote.
Okay, thank you. The Pedestrian Safety Review Board has a discussion about speed naturally all the time, because in all of the information that we get, we find that speed is the one prevailing factor in our place, which is not a good place to be, where we are losing so many of our citizens and some who are homeless folks here in our community. So at our last meeting, the whole committee enjoyed a discussion on speed, and I asked if there were other streets in Macon-Bibb that we could put on a list and bring before this commission for consideration in reducing the speed. We might as well get used to it. The only way and most effective way that we can reduce some of these deaths is through reduction of speed. The research shows that someone who gets hit at, I believe it's 40 miles an hour, they're either dead or near. At 30 miles an hour, the trend is less seriousness. At 20, you know what happens. There's fewer deaths, fewer injuries, and the lower the speed, that means the fewer people are killed. But we've got some challenges in Macon-Bibb, and we know that everybody always goes faster than the posted speed. So we've got to work on reducing speeds on some streets. Some neighborhood associations have already asked us about reducing speed. So this is just for us to take a look at it. It's not reducing anything at this point, although we have reduced, y'all remember how many of the last few years? We've reduced 5, 6, 7, I know, of the last few years. But this is just to study it and see where it's practical, where it makes sense, and then also ask for GDOT to work with us. And I have to compliment them. They have been so cooperative with us since the mayor started having the meetings with them. It makes a difference who's asking them to meet. And I think our legislators also, you've talked with them as well. So it makes a difference when the chief executive officer of a community requests to meet with folks, and then that person brings in other folks who can share terrible stories, horror stories of dangerous places in a community. So we're also asking GDOT, since many of the roads where we have so many deaths and serious injuries are state roads, we're also asking for their cooperation and work with us on reducing the speeds where they can.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mayor Pro Tem Clark.
Yeah, I just want to commend Commissioner Lucas for working on this and all of her work for the Pedestrian Safety Review Board. This is a great plan of action, and if I've started as the chair of the Macon Area Transportation Study Policy Committee this year, and if there's any support we can offer to the review board or this plan to study where we need to lower speed limits, just please let me know. But and I'd also like to be added as a sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Signed on. There are some things that are just really important that impact the entire community. So I would like to ask if nobody has a problem that we all sign on, and it does carry weight for all of us to be co-signers.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. If you'd like to be a co-sponsor, please let Ms. Frost know. Commissioner Wynn?
Yes, sir, thank you. I'm glad we're bringing in the State Department of Transportation, because some of these major places are state roadways, state residential, and I think those are the ones we're going to be really concerned with. But my concern is, how are we going to enforce this? Because, you know, people speed all the time in our residential areas, and we're not doing anything about it. That's what people from my district say.
But we can only do what we can do right
No.
now. Our request for them is to review these roads, to evaluate them and see if there's a chance that they can lower the speeds. There are some that are more problematic than others. Tyler Peak actually reached out from me today from the Georgia Department of Transportation after getting a copy of this, and we'll be collaborating with them to look at certain roads. But in the end, they're going to make the decision. And at the end of the day, too, it's always been about enforcement, but we still can't ignore the fact that we need to change policies on occasion and change laws, and the enforcement is going to have to follow. We can only do is what we can do.
Yeah, if we're able to change them, that's great. I think we should put some of those speed detectors up that we do at the school zones
Yeah.
to get people to slow down for a while, just move them around, but get them to slow down for a while if that comes about. I mean, that'll teach them a lesson.
Yeah, well, we will be coordinating with them as soon as this, a vote comes tonight. If it passes successfully at the next meeting, Ms. Ross is gonna be forwarding a copy of my signed resolution to them, and they'll begin their process. It takes a while for them, and it does, cost them some funds to do these, surveys, so they're gonna take the top ones first. So I thank everyone's input for that. At this time, we, entertain a motion for approval. Can I get a motion? Motion by Commissioner Lucas. We have a second. Second by Commissioner Bronson, was that? Commissioner Bronson. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Opposed, nay. That motion carries to be sent to consent agenda. We do not have a need to go into executive session right now. If that changes before we have our meeting tonight. I do know that several people have signed up to speak tonight on various issues. They haven't arrived here yet, but we would expect them to do that. But we'll conclude this meeting right now, and we'll convene again at 6 o'clock for our regularly scheduled meeting. I'm looking for the lights. I'm sorry, I pay attention to the lights, so if you don't hit your light, I don't recognize you.
You know that we've been conducting a survey, a petition online as well as a paper petition. And we now have almost 300 who have signed online opposing the bus fare increases. And I have the printed copy with those numbers. And we also, I have a copy, and I'll present this later at the commission meeting. All of these folks have signed the paper petition saying that they oppose the fare increase. And so I'll be presenting that at our 6 o'clock meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Lucas. I think
Thank you.
I saw another light on. Commissioner Watkins, you had a question, sir?
Yeah, I guess same also related to Commissioner Lucas and the bus fares. I'd hope that one day this body can have a meeting or a discussion on it. I prepared a resolution. I think Commissioner Lucas may have as well. Again, on the bus fares, asking for some action, and I would like for us to be able to discuss it as an agenda item at one of our upcoming meetings. I ask respectfully and kindly.
Thank you, Commissioner Watkins. That's duly noted. At this time, we'll stand adjourned until 6 o'clock.